Hello and welcome everyone. So this is a tutorial based on the unit testing. So we will be unit testing the controllers with an ASP.NET 6 application having a model view controller template. So here is what we want to cover today. So what is the objective of unit testing? Our objective for unit testing is testing the controller logic in an ASP.NET 6 framework, web application, and the controller logic is embedded in a number of action methods in the controller. Each action method is supposed to serve a single function. So unit tests involve testing a part of an application in isolation from its infrastructure or dependencies. In unit testing, we test the contents of a single action to focus on the controller's behavior. What is the scope of this presentation? This presentation is intended to be a basic presentation on unit tests on controllers in MVC design pattern using Microsoft's ASP.NET 6 web framework. So, for the sake of simplicity and to follow the time limitations, mock objects and repositories have not been covered. The Visual Studio running solution is available with the author and can be shared on request. Now this has been earlier written, but so far I've created a GitHub repository and you'll find the link in the description. Alright, so this is what I want to do. I will actually show you the screenshot of the completed application and explain it a little bit, and then we start with a partially completed application and build it from there to create all the tests for the home controllers and product controller. So there will be 2 tests for the home controller action methods and there will be 3 for the product controller. So here is a thing that we are going to cover. So we are going to cover Visual Studio 2022 ASP.NET Core MVC project, that is ASP.NET 6. Okay, as per this attached figure. So when I have when I have switched over to Visual Studio, this is how it will look like. So I will be there soon. Now I will name this project UnitTest Demo, and I will add an XUnit test project named UnitTest Demo.test. And to the main project UnitTest Demo, I add a product controller in the controllers folder like here. Okay. And I will add a product class in the models folder. And to the test project and in dependencies, I will add the unit test demo as a dependency. Now this is the model. Product model is a simple model, a product class which has got just an ID and a name, and a public constructor which initializes the ID and name. So if you call this product class passing the ID and name, so it will be initialized. All right. So next is the index action method. So now let's inspect the action methods that contain the home controller logic. So please bear with me. I am going to cover everything in the actual Visual Studio project. So we shall then write the unit tests in the XUnit test project. And initially the index method is still not written, and initially it throws the not implemented exception. All right. So you can see this code snippet. By default, it returns view with index. Okay, index view returns index, return view index. But I have commented this out just to show a point that this is test-driven development, so it will fail the test based on this index action method. So I've thrown a new not implemented exception. Right. So testing the home controller. Now I will add public class home controller test.cs and product controller test.cs to the test project, and there will be 2 tests on the index method of the home controller. The first one returns the view name, the test is name, test index returns view name, and the second one tests for the view data to be null for index action method. Test is named test index returns view data. So this is how the 2 tests look like. Test index returns view name, so which there's a controller is initialized with the new home controller for the UnitTest demo project, and a result initialized, which is using the home controller's index as the view result. And then we are making an assertion assert.equal, this is the actual and this is the expected. This is the expected is index and result.view name is the actual. And if they are equal, then the test passes the green light. So we'll soon see that. And similarly, we have got this controller is initialized with the new home controller. It's a new instance of the home controller, and the result is again initialized as controller.index as view result. So these first two lines are the common same, and then product is initialized, var product equals, it is this result, and this is what you call nullable result variable, as opposed to just the non-nullable. So this result is it is nullable. It shows nullability with question mark dot view data dot model, and it is explicitly cast to the product to make it as a product. Okay, so assert.null product. At this time, the product controller is not there. Product controller there is no code written, so assert this test should pass. So let's switch over to the partially finished project. Now, as per this slide, with the index method of home controller not implemented, we run the test explorer. So if you look into this code, now I have got these two pieces of code: throw new not implemented exception and return view index. So I will comment the bottom part and uncomment this throw new not implemented exception, and then I'll click on test, run all tests. Okay, let's see what happens. So now I've got these two failing tests of home controller. So two tests, they have failed because I intended them to fail. Okay, because it is not implemented. So next we'll go to write some test for the product controller. Okay, so here is our basic product controller that we have made out of the default template, and then we'll have to write some you have to complete the product controller and write the product controller test. All right, so that we'll do now. So please follow along and you can code along with me. So before we do it, let's run through the slideshow. So once the test explorer has finished running, we get the two failing tests as I have shown for the home controller. So it was like this. So this home controller tests have failed. Now because it has already got some product controller test written, so it was also showing it was trying to run the product controller. But we'll now get back to the Visual Studio and write those tests to pass it. Write the minimal code to pass those two tests, which is returning the view. So again, we'll now comment this throw new not implemented exception, and instead we'll open up this commented code, return view index, and then you will run this test. So test, run, repeat last run. It takes a wee while, so I'll come back. So these green bulbs, green ticks, they indicate that these two have passed. Okay, so I've got 2 total tests, 2 passed and 0 failed. Okay, so that's fine. Is it XUnit? So let's do a little bit of thing that UnitTest demo, because I didn't show you how to write this UnitTest demo.test. So this is out of, if you want to create a test project, so just click on add new project, an XUnit test project. Okay, so if it is not found within the reset project template, just click to search for it, just write XUnit test and you will click the handlines and you'll get this project if it is downloaded on your machine. All right. So I don't want to add a new project. And also for this home controller test, another thing to note is that you have to write this fact attribute. Okay, so like fact means this attribute that is applied to a method to indicate that it is a fact and should be run by the test runner. Okay, and then you'll have to make using XUnit. So you have to bring in XUnit NuGet package or XUnit library. Okay, so and you have to bring UnitTest demo.controllers because controllers folder is being used, so is the models folder. All right, model has got product class and controllers folder has got home controller and product controller. Right, now let's go for the product controller. So I will write the product controller basic tests that I have created, that I'm going to create. So for this, I'll be using this statement using UnitTest demo project dot. I'll bring in the models folder. Right, and then public class product controller, which is derived from the controller class, and then I'll get rid of return view, this iAction result index action method. Instead, I'll start writing see, this Visual Studio 2022 has come up a long way, and it is just suggesting me the code, that is artificial intelligence driven. So, and most of the time the code that it suggests is correct, but sometimes you need to modify it. Okay, so just don't please follow it blindly as such, but sometimes it gives you useful hints. Okay, and tries to complete your code lines. So, product I'll initialize it also in this line. New product, and it takes an ID and name. So I'll just give the ID as 1 and name as say VCR. I hope you are able to see. This is actually, I have put it to 150% zoom. I can further zoom it up a little bit, 200%, if that makes it more legible and visible while you follow my code. So product equals new product, and passing in the ID and name, and then I'll create iAction result of index. And to complete the code, return view. Now I will actually create a method which is yet not there, so it will come up with these quickly lines, and then return view with prod, which returns the product. Okay, let's create this create products method. So it will actually just nothing, it is going to create a few products. Okay, so this is, let it be private because this will be used by this class only. Okay, So prod.add product. Okay, great. First line is all right as it is. I could just tab it. Okay, and then product equals new product, and this time because one is used ID to say television. So why these squiggly lines are there? Prod.add product. Product is not null here. Okay, that's fine. Product equals not null here is variable but is used like a type. Because I'm going to use this product. Okay, sorry. So product equals, so I have initialized this first product with serial number 1 and VCR, and then it is again reinitialized with another product 2 and television. Okay, and then I will add this to the I list of product. So prod dot add product again, and then another product. Say I'll just copy this line and paste it over here. So it has got a serial number 3. You could write anything like gaming console. All right, something like that. I'll leave it to you to add whatever number of products that you might wish to. Prod again dot add. Product. Okay, and let's save it with Control S. Right, and then finally there will be a detail action method. This is just a method which is being used by index action method, which returns an I action result type, and then another public action method which returns again an action result. Details, and this details takes an integer ID. Okay, and what I intend to code within this method, what this is supposed to do is that, if the ID is less than 1, that is 0, -1, etc., which is unrealistic, then it will redirect to the index page. Okay, and then it will call the create product method to create the product, and then it will get the product and get its name, the product which is at ID, that is the int ID, which is the supplied ID, the product at this ID. It will get the name of that product. Okay, so if ID less than 1, it could be 0 also. So return redirect to action, and redirect to which method, which view? This is index view. It will return to the index. Okay, I think it will be capital is better, but I'll tab it out. Okay, because this is the index view, index.cshtml. So let us write the case sensitivity. Let us respect the case sensitivity, which is capital case, okay, uppercase. So why it is protesting? Because I have not still returned any action result type. Okay, now I will call this create product method, create product or create products method, which will again create the products. Sometime it actually tries to be a bit smart, so we have to correct it manually. Create products, okay, semicolon, and then var product. Prod.where. Now I'm going to use lambda expressions over here. Prod.where x goes to x dot id equals the supplied id. All right, and then I'll extract the name from that product. Var name equals product and now I will use the first or default method. Returns the first element of a sequence. First or default, then product dot first dot default dot name. Okay, so this is nullable product. Okay, nullability, because there could be no product, so it will not fail. That is the feature of ASP.NET 6 I found. C# 10, then return view, not product. It should return the details view. And name. Okay. So before moving over to write the test for the product controller, we'd like to see what we have done. So we have created this index action method, and we have created this create product method. So it says we shall then write the unit test in the XUnit test project. Okay, so in the index action method, the index action method calls the create product method that initializes a few products objects which are added to the list of products, and the product index view is returned with the product list. Okay, so this is the code I have already written. I've shown it to you, and now we are going to write the test for the product controller. Okay, so that will come next. So I have opened up the product controller test, which we have created when we took up this partially complete project, and it uses, at the moment, none of these using statements are getting used. That's why they are in gray color. They are not bright white. Okay, so when they get used, that will be shown instantly with the brighter text, actually, brighter colored white text. So public class product controller test. Now again, let's start writing. So the first line following the class before we start writing the tests, test methods, is fact attribute, and fact uses XUnit. So using XUnit. All right. So this XUnit, now you can also see here, these are the frameworks and the packages. So when you create a XUnit project, test project, XUnit is automatically inside these packages, Okay, so these are NuGet packages, but it is already packed with these packages. So if you wish to just inspect quickly, I can show you the manage NuGet packages to see which are the packages already installed. So these are the installed package is XUnit, XUnit.runner.visual studio. Right. So after the fact, the tests are public void Now this is test index returns product count. So as the name suggests, so this is the beauty of unit test. The unit test naming is also another topic, another chapter, in the subject. So it is actually, the test shows that it is a test, and it is testing the index action method of this product controller, and it returns a product count. So it's also self-explanatory. So I'm initializing a controller instance for the product controller. New. Now bringing for the product controller, I need to first using UnitTest demo dot controllers. Okay, and then I'll also be using the models for this project using UnitTest demo.models and using XUnit. So now new product controller. So it automatically comes when you press Control and space. So it suggests all these options available. So new product controller. Okay, and then result is controller.index. This part is actually correct. I'll accept this, but enclose it within a pair of circular brackets or braces. So controller.index as view result. And for bringing the view result, I need another this squiggly line. It shows that I'm missing something. So using Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC. All right, so this is also bright white, so that means I'm using this Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC. All right, then the third line is, so we have initialized controller, we have initialized the result as controller.index, which is a view result, and then var product list. Yes, var product list you will be getting from result as iList product. No, not really. List. I have to explicitly cast result into list of product, and here these red squiggly lines, result may be null here. So what we do, as we have done in the past, we put a question mark for nullability, for including nullable result, and question mark for list of product also could be null dot here view data. I'll use view data, it's there, dot model. Right, now all squiggly lines have been taken care of. So at this point it is quite paying to keep on saving your work. Okay, so I've saved it. So our product list equals result.viewData.model, and this is cast into a list of product, which is also nullable. Now arrange, act, assert. So this part is actually known as in Microsoft jargon, they tend to divide this unit test into three parts: arrange, and this part is act. Arrange means arranging all the variables in the position nicely, so that you can make it, you can bring some methods to act on these arranged variables so that you can get some result. Arrange, act, and assert. This is the assert part, which is self-explanatory because it uses the assert statement. Assert dot equal. Okay, I'll take that, but since the product count is, I'm expecting 3 comma product list dot count. Now all that is needed to be corrected in the self suggested code snippet is this question mark. This is actually bringing making the product list as nullable. So assert dot equal, this is the you can see this is the expected, and this is the actual. Expected 3 counts and actual is being brought from this expression. Okay, let's see that. And then the next test is another fact attribute. So we are going to write 3 tests, as I have said from the beginning, for this product controller test, which will test it 3 ways. The product controller, so this will be public, and this is all public async task test index written, so don't go for it. So this is misguiding this time. The public void test details. Now index action method, I have tested just one test which returns the product count, and this time it is test, it will test the details action method, test details, so returns view name. So it returns the view name of the details view. Okay, so let's quickly see what was the details action method. So public action is the details. It takes int id, integer id, and if id is less than 1, it redirects to index page, and it calls the create products method, which is actually creating a bunch of products and adding it to a list, and then it is getting that product at a particular id and then extracting the name for that product. Okay, getting back here to the test product controller test.cs. Now here these 2 lines are exactly the same. Arrange part is the same, rather not exactly. The first line is the same, so it will be the controller is again initialized, new product controller, but the next line result is different. It expects an integer id, so let us supply id 2 as view result. Okay, that's fine. This part is fine. Again, save it. Assert dot equal So basically I'm expecting it to return details as the view name. So this is the expected details. And then this result, again nullable result dot view name. There is one thing, view name is there, so gets us the name. Okay, so it should get the view name, which should be details. If it is details, then expected and actual are same, and then the test passes. All right, looks as simple as that. Okay, the third one is a bit more. It's not actually complicated, but it tests. Let's see what it tests. So it should test details redirect to index if id less than 1. Okay, let me first complete the signature public. So if id less than 1, it should redirect to index. Okay, so what was the product controller? So this details method, if id is less than 1, it returns to redirect to action index. Okay, so redirects the status code dot status 3 to found to the specified action using the action name. Specified action means it is redirecting to index page. Right. So back here, how will you test that part? Again, as in the first two tests, var controller, I will initialize the controller as the instance of the product controller. New instance of the product controller. And then result again. See, what I will do is, I'll accept this part is all right. Controller dot details 2 rather than 2. If it is -1 or 0, less than 1 is 0. You can try it with 0 or even -1 will do. And instead of casting it to controller, you'll cast it to redirect to action result. Redirect to action result. Okay, so what does it say on the mouse over? An additional result that returns a found 302 move permanently, temporary redirect or permanent redirect. Temporary redirect, I would say. Okay, returns a found. So if the details is has an ID of -1 passed to it, so it actually initializes the result with this redirect to action. So it redirects to basically index. So I would think that if assert, because we are testing that action method, so assert dot equal, it should redirect to index. Index, rather capital I, and then this result dot action name. How will you get the this part, index part, which part it will be returning to? So result dot action name. Action name. So if you look at the mouse over, it suggests gets or sets the name of the action to use for generating the URL. Index action. Okay, that's all. So let's see by running the test again. So test, run all tests. So if you click on run all tests or repeat last run, you could also debug all tests, debug last run, whatever, if you want to debug. But if you run all tests, if you run repeat last run, it will repeat the last run, which is what we want. Or you can click run all tests, whichever. So it will take a wee bit for the product controller test to run, because it is running for the first time. It will build also. Actually, now one more test is remaining, which I want to squeeze in. So this is again the fact attribute, and this is again public void test details only, test details returns view data. D capital, so again var controller is initialized as a new instance of product controller. Okay, and then let's initialize for a change var product. So product comes from the result dot view data dot model. Okay, great, it has suggested every bit of code. Okay, because we are testing the product controller. And assert dot equal, now this part is I want view data. So let's first accept the tab by tabbing it, and then I will expect the product to be the say mobile, and not the product count, but product dot to string, that is the name. Which product is it? String. And then external bracket, closing bracket. So these are the 4 tests for the product controllers. That is all I wanted to show you. Now let's run this. So I would expect all these 3 tests to pass, but this test will pass basically upon if the details 2 is mobile. So let's see details 2. Now we get it from the product controller. So product 2 is television, so this should fail. All right, so 3 out of 4 should pass. So run all tests again. So its test explorer is running. I'll come back after it works its way through. So now you can see that 5 tests out of 6 has passed, 1 is failed. This is the failing test, so this is 3 out of 4 passed. So test it assert dot equal failure. So what it says, that it expected mobile but actually is television. All right, actually is television but it was expecting mobile. Okay, as per this code it was expecting mobile but actually was television for the details too. So that marks the end of this tutorial, extensive tutorial somewhat, on the unit test of controllers in MVC in ASP.NET 6. Now, if you like this video and if you like my channel in general, please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and put your invaluable comments. Thank you very much.